While they grapple with the iron ore debate, senior ministers are also out across the country selling their second budget. And they're also having to deal with a renewed push from the backbench for better tax treatment of single income families. National Senator Matt Canavan is part of a group in the government campaigning for a better deal for families with one stay-at-home parent. I spoke to him about his concerns earlier this morning. Senator Canavan, why do single income families deserve better tax breaks in your opinion?
Well, they don't deserve better tax breaks, James. I'm certainly not asking for a subsidy for stay-at-home parenting or single-income families. What I do think, though, is we should largely have a tax system which treats parental choices equally or equally as possible, because I don't really have any desire to want to socially engineer through the tax system how parents look after their children.
But you would like to do this, one way you'd like to do this is by income splitting, essentially, which is better tax treatment, I guess, for a single income family.
It's not better tax system than a double income family. A double income family obviously gets to income split because they both earn money, and indeed if they're 50-50, they income split completely. Now, I'm not asking, and I don't think we can afford as a nation, the US system, which is joint filing of tax returns and perfect income splitting. What I'm arguing for is a tax system which recognises that when a family decides to have one person go out in the workforce and the other stay home, the tax system doesn't treat them very fairly right now.
Okay, can I break that down then? So one way of achieving your goal might be to give a single income family double the tax-free threshold, for example. So instead of being, so it's nearly $40,000 worth of tax-free. Is that one way you'd like to see this done?
That's the proposal I'm making, but I'll also make the point at the start that that alone would not equalise or not even subsidise stay-at-home parenting. It would just make the gap smaller. So right now, if you have a family on $100,000 and they have two kids and a single income, they pay around $10,000 more in net tax than a double income family on the same household income with the same number of kids.
And what would the economic benefit of doing something like this be then in your view?
Well, I think it's twofold. One, it's good for the employment, good for the labour market, because we shouldn't have a system where parents face vastly different tax rates when they make a choice whether they go to work. Because I think a lot of families, certainly my family, I hope, works as a team. Sometimes my kids I don't think are on that team, but my wife and I are on the same team, and we make decisions jointly. And if you face different tax rates, that changes your behaviour, and I don't think the tax system should do that. So we'll make people work more efficiently if we change to that way, and also we'd give people more opportunity to make a decision about who looks after their children.
There's now a group within the government who are of a similar view to you. How many backbenchers are there on your side at the moment with this issue?
Oh, look, I won't name a number precisely,
10,
but we're hoping to have a group of around 10 to 15 people who are like-minded. They don't not necessarily equally minded. We all bring different perspectives, and the issues I've spoken about in this interview certainly are my perspectives, and I'm not trying to talk for others. But I think it's worthwhile for us, given the response that this debate has achieved.
That's quite a reasonable number of people, though, with a similar view to you. Given that senior ministers have said that they want more people to be working, what do you think your chances are of actually being successful?
Well, I'm not arguing against that objective at all. Indeed, I would argue that if we had a fairer tax system for stay-at-home parent families, we would get more people working, not necessarily people working, but perhaps more people working longer or harder or better.
What do you think then of the government's proposed changes to the family tax benefits and also paid parental leave?
Well, last year I supported changes to the family tax benefit system. Indeed, I voted for reductions in the threshold for eligibility to family tax benefit B. That was in the context of savings for the budget, and I do think we've all got to tighten our belts, and I was happy to support those changes. I am concerned, though, of if we make those savings to then provide more assistance to only some type of families, those that have their children in work childcare, we further widen this gap between single income and double income families, and I'm very concerned about that.
Okay, and on the issue of paid parental leave, senior ministers have used the term double dippers to describe those who use both their private and Commonwealth paid parental leave schemes. Would have you used that sort of language?
No, I think it is double dipping. Now, I do think, and I'll say up front, I think perhaps there has been some unfortunate terms used. I don't think it's fraudulent or rorting. It's perfectly legitimate. I haven't done it myself. I haven't, but in saying that, I haven't been in the position to do it. But I'll say up front, if I had been, we probably, I'm sure, would have taken advantage of both. But it's a bit like George Costanza. You know, I don't really think you should double dip your chip, but I can't say I haven't done it before. And I think it's something we should change so that we can better target spending to the people that really need.
Matt Canavan, thanks very much for joining Capitol Hill.
Thanks, James.